Hi and welcome. This is Homebody Rundown and I'm HR. I did an Azure order that I picked up on August 12th, 2025. I will put the website for Azure in the description. This is a company where you order bulk foods online and you meet at a drop site. You meet a truck to pick up your order. I was going to wait until the fall to do this, but I realized that all my helpers would be in college, and so I wanted to get this order in before everyone went back to school so that they would be available if I needed them to pick up all the heavy things I ordered, which included some large bags of beans and grain. I like to order from Azure because they sell a lot of natural products that I cannot get at my local Whole Foods store, or they are cheaper. Just even with shipping, they are cheaper than at Whole Foods. In this video, I'm going to go over prices and show you what I got, and at the end I'll show you how I store some of these foods. I have 3 large bags of beans and grain here. This first one is pinto beans. It is a 25-pound bag and they are organic. I can get these locally, but in very small quantities, so this is much more cost effective. The same with the chickpeas or garbanzo beans. These are also organic, and this is a 25-pound bag. And then this is a 25-pound bag of the quick oats. These are organic, and I can buy smaller containers at Whole Foods that are organic, but this is, once again, I save money on all 3 of these items. Also, just to note that the prices and the ingredients could change over time or from, day to day on the website. So this is just what I paid at this moment in time. The chickpeas were $52.09. The pinto beans were $44.79. And this big bag of quick oats was a really good deal, $30.24. And these are organic. That's what makes this a good price. I picked up 2 boxes of Natural Value brand dryer sheets. There are 80 sheets in here. They are unscented, and I paid $5.94 for each box. Desert Essence brand coconut shampoo and conditioner. These are 8 fluid ounces. The shampoo was $8.19 and the conditioner was $6.83. I don't think that's a sale price. Just so you know, Azure does run sales, so sometimes things are marked down. Organic chili powder, 4 ounces for $3.44. And this one, it does print the ingredients on this label here on the bag. Smoked organic paprika. This was $9.90, but this is a large amount, 16 ounces. And here's the ingredients there. It's just the one. The next item I have not bought before. This is organic ancho chili powder. It is ground, 3.3 ounces. Here's what it looks like. The color is really nice. $6.25, and it comes in a glass jar. It says it's good until the end of 2026. This is hands down my favorite ketchup. This is Portland brand ketchup. It was a pack of 3 glass jars. They are 14 ounces each. And for the 3-pack, it was $13.47. I cannot find this ketchup locally, at least at the stores where I shop. Whole milk powder, 16-ounce bag. This is organic, $11.03. So it's kind of pricey, but I like to have it on hand if I'm going to be doing a baking project that requires a lot of milk. That way I don't burn through, the equally expensive lactose-free organic milk I buy for my kids. This is dark rye flour, $2.69. I have never used this before or bought this. I just thought that would be nice to add to a bread and see how it turns out. It is organic. Black beans. I got 2 5-pound bags of the black beans. These are organic. I still had quite a few, so I didn't want to order a big 25-pound bag. And these were $9.92 for each bag. This is a 5-pound bag of pearled barley. I have not bought this from Azure, but I did buy some at Whole Foods and I really liked it, so I wanted to stock up on it. This was $8.68. and it says it's good until May of 2027. And I like that on the label it does have some ingredients, or I'm sorry, it has directions for cooking. They're also usually on the website. This is a 5-pound bag of organic cannellini beans. This is $17.43. Okay, so here I'm showing you that the nutrition facts, they are doing it for 1 cup, which is a very large serving. It's like 700 calories, so just be aware. Peanut butter chips, these are delicious. They're definitely different than the kind you buy, just like, I don't know, Nestle brand or whatever at the store. Those are equally good, but these are more natural, $8.09. Organic brown basmati rice, 5 pounds. I really like the brown rice. This is $16.20 because it's organic. I think it's actually Lundberg rice that they repackage, and it says it on the website, I believe. Paper Chef brand pre-cut parchment sheets, $5.15. I don't use these all the time, but sometimes it's just nice to get the pre-cut ones. Reclosable storage, gallon bags, Natural Value brand, $3.52, and there are 19 in here. And then also same brand freezer bags. These are the slider ones. There are 10 in here for $3.43. Also picked up a 3-pack of If You Care brand household gloves. This is the large. Now, the ones I buy at Walmart, it's not this, I'm trying to think of what brand it is. But anyway, those I wear a medium, but on this If You Care brand, I need to get a large. My fingers are kind of long, so these are a much better fit than the mediums. But I like these because it says they're compostable, so it helps alleviate some of my guilt. And it was $13.80 for the 3-pack of gloves. This is Snowpack brand organic diced onions. These are frozen. They were $30.83 for each box, and each box has 10 bags that are 10 ounces each. The only ingredient on this is organic onions. I also picked up 3 bags of the Azure brand hash browns. These are organic, Southern style cut, so they're little cubes. These are frozen, and they are 4-pound bags. These used to come in a box, but now they have their own plastic bag packaging, and it was $10.94 for each bag. Ordered a 3-pack of the Stacy's organic big white flour tortillas. I still have quite a few tortillas from my last order, so this was all I got this round. $15.55 for the 3 packs. These do come frozen. The subtotal for this order was $406.97, and the shipping was $34.59, but it's coming from Oregon, which does not have sales tax. I had a reward, an Azure cash reward of 48 cents, so that was subtracted from my total for a grand total of $441.08. I think that ordering from Azure can be a little tricky as far as the pickups go, but I really appreciate being able to stock up at one time on all these natural and organic products. All right, so now the rest of the video I'm just going to show how I store most of these foods. I have a lot of glass jars that I've collected over the years, and I just ordered another 6-pack of the Ball brand half-gallon jars. I wanted some more of those. These barely fit in this jar. These are the organic peanut butter chips. Usually I put them in a quart size, but I was actually running pretty low on quart size jars, so I'm glad that worked out. This smoked paprika, I don't know if I've gotten any spices in this large of a quantity, but I wanted, now if I kept it in the Mylar, it would be totally fine. I just prefer to have it in a jar. Here's how it looks. It's a beautiful color. And I did end up using one of my limited quart jars for this, and it also barely fit into the jar. And I just wanted to say before I forget that I paid $11.83 for that 6-pack of the half-gallon jars from Walmart. But I went out today, so that was a few weeks ago, but the price today is $14.05. So the price does fluctuate. You may want to watch it for a better deal, but I will link it in the description. I typically have a lid for every jar that I use. I buy the plastic lids at Walmart, the white plastic ones you see. They're very affordable, and they are by far the ones that are the easiest to get on and off of a jar. If you have any issues with, your joints or your hands, I really like the white lids just for ease of use. They do not hold up as well, I have found, in the freezer. If something gets dropped on them, they're more likely to break than the gray lid that you see on the table here. That is a Ball brand plastic lid, and it just seems to hold up better in the freezer. So if I have any of those, I typically use those when I'm doing items in the freezer. But not all the jars I'm using today are jars that can go in the freezer. You do want to pay attention. Not all jars are freezer safe. So I'm trying here to get the labels off. Sometimes the labels will peel off pretty easily. And I've had some viewers say they have no problem with it. This was summer though, and I don't know how much heat this stuff is exposed to in the truck. I'm really not sure if that affects, how easy it is to get the stickers off. Also, just how long the stickers have been on the product. So I tried. So this is one of those larger new jars, and I'm just going to use the lid that came with it, the canning lid. The brown basmati rice will not all fit in one of these, but I have some larger, I think it's Cambo brand containers. They're fantastic. I get those at Sam's Club. They're like restaurant size plastic storage, and they're lightweight, which I really like. But because the rice is so heavy, I'm just putting it into smaller containers. So I took about 1.5 of those jars. You can see those there in the background. This is the cannellini beans. I do have some of these in the pantry, but I like to put the new ones into separate containers so that I use up the old ones ideally first, especially on beans, because it is good to know, at least in my experience, that if a bean is older, I will usually put some more time on it when I pressure cook it, just because it tends to take a little longer. The pearl barley I have not made very often, I think maybe just once or twice, so I am going to take the time to cut the label off. I'm not going to try to peel one off again. I'm going to cut this one off and just tape it onto the back of the jar so I have it as a reference. Usually the Azure bags, they're really nice quality. They're 2 layers, so that's what you were seeing there. All right, so I am going to put some labels on these jars. Normally my labels are messy. I just use masking tape and handwrite it, but I accidentally bought the wrong tape for my label maker. On storage totes and things, I like to get the white background with the black print. And unfortunately this time I bought clear. Also, I don't know why, but I was really struggling to get the labels off of this label tape. I don't usually have that much trouble with the kind I normally order, but I don't know. This was the name brand stuff, and normally I order the generic tapes off of Amazon. So anyway, I really wanted to figure out a way to use this tape, and I thought it would look nice on the jars. And it does. It looks, aesthetically, it looks nicer than the white label tape, but it doesn't pop as much as if it was on a white background, but that's fine. I am usually very close, and a lot of these things, I know what they are. I don't actually need a label, but if someone else is getting it out for me, it is helpful to have. Next up is the powdered milk, and you can see here, they put this in a different type of paper bag. It has a lining on it, which I think is really good, because this stuff is very powdery. I almost fit it all into the smaller jar, so I don't usually add the old milk powder or the new milk powder in with the old, but I did this time because it was just a little, and it was just from my last Azure order. And I also printed out the reconstituting, I don't, I don't know how to say, directions for the milk. These are 2-gallon buckets that I ordered from Azure in the past. They have the separate Gamma Seal type lid, and that is a separate purchase when you order these from Azure. Here's the lid. These are just nicer than having to get the tool to pop off a lid that just pops on and off. The spinning is way easier and convenient. If you have the money, I think it is worth it. They're really handy. I like the 2-gallon size. I'm moving away from 5-gallon buckets. I originally was putting things like pinto beans into 5-gallon buckets with the Gamma Seal lids, but I mean, it's just incredibly heavy, and I wanted to be able to pick these up if I had to by myself. So if you wanted to know how much space that needed, that was the 25-pound bag of pinto beans, and it fit into 2 of the 2-gallon size pails. This is the 25-pound bag of Quick Oats, and I do still store that in 5-gallon pails because obviously it is much lighter, and it took about 1.5 pails for this amount of Quick Oats. I had 1 2-gallon bucket left, so I put part of the chickpeas into that, and then the rest I put into, and I looked it up, it is Cambro brand storage container. It's really lightweight. That's the one I was talking about earlier from Sam's Club. And was able to put everything away. I think the only thing I did not store yet was that flour. I'm not sure. I may keep that in the freezer just because I don't want it to go rancid. This is how everything looks in its storage container, and it's going into our pantry, just our regular working pantry. This is not for long-term food storage, and obviously it'll take a little longer to get through the beans, but that's fine. They will last for quite a while. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.